Foreign hate preachers face being deported from the UK in latest crackdown on extremism. Ministers are also examining plans to cancel the visas of foreigners caught spreading hate at pro-Palestine events. Will we see these measures implemented, or will they remain just another news headline or yet another Tory party wishful policy that never materialise? Well, the fact is, ministers already have the powers to block people from entering Britain who are non-conducive to the public good. They did it to Geert Wilders, the Dutch politician, seemed Islamophobic. He was refused entry to the UK after arriving at Heathrow Airport in 2009. It's just with the Islamists that they've been too shy to exercise their powers. And in this video I will talk about one specific case of an Iranian Shia cleric who was allowed to come to the UK and obtain UK residency, and then have a look at what has happened since. How he spread and organised Khomeini's version of political Islam in England. But before going on to that, it's interesting to note that at least some of the UK officials are beginning to say the type of things people like me have been repeatedly saying before. Lord Walney, the government's independent advisor on political violence, who's been working on a review on political violence, told the Daily Telegraph that there has been an unholy alliance between the far left groups and some of the Islamic extremism that has been seen on pro-Palestine marches. Now, how many times have people like me been saying what is happening in Britain today reminds us of Iran in 1979, when the unholy alliance between the left and the Islamists led to the Islamic takeover of Iran? How many times have I been saying that, going on about the left going to bed with the Islamists? So it's encouraging to see that some of what we've been saying is at least being echoed by some in the establishment. But we wait to see some tangible results. In this video, I want to talk about how UK officials allowed this Ayatollah Mohsen Araki into UK, and what has happened, what's been the consequence of that decision since. Ayatollah Araki is actually born in Iraq and came to Iran in 1975. Many of the Iranian Ayatollahs ruling Iran today are not Iranian, but they were born in Iraq and they came to Iran from there. Ayatollah Araki became an ardent supporter of Khomeini and was quickly promoted after the revolution in Iran in 1979. In 1994, he was appointed by the current Supreme Leader of Iran as his representative to go to London and establish the Islamic Centre of England in Maida Vale in London. This is the letter of his appointment by the Supreme Leader of Iran. It is in Persian. Either trust me or have it translated yourself. But it talks about being appointed. It shows that he's been appointed by the Iran Supreme Leader. And this building, a former bingo hall, was purchased and converted into a mosque by him. And from here it was that Ayatollah Araki started to entrench Khomeini's political Islam and organised building Iran's network of influence into the UK with complete impunity and no hindrance from the UK security forces. He remained in the UK for 10 years until he, along with his family, got UK residency. Since then, there are at least 4 other similar outlets for Khomeini, the Iran Supreme Leader, in the UK, as well as many Islamic so-called colleges, charities, so-called human rights commissions and other covers, you name it. The tentacles are now so vast, but it all started by this man from this centre in Maida Vale. He's now back in Iran and may even be the next Supreme Leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The annual Al-Quds marches that you may be aware of, the Iranian regime-backed marches in London and other European cities against Israel, is all organised by Iran's network in the UK that Ayatollah Araki started. Furthermore, October last year, when the pro-Hamas marches in the UK started, the Times of London was told by counter-terrorism officers that Iran was hijacking the protests. The counter-terrorism officers said it is directly linked to the Iranian regime and includes a campaign of online disinformation and Iranian operatives being physically present at protests. So, not just the Al-Quds Day marches anymore. Did you get the picture? A hostile state was allowed to send its agent in broad daylight into the UK, turn a bingo hall into a mosque, and spread Khomeini's political Islam, and the UK authorities did nothing about it. Instead, they went for those who were warning everyone about the dangers of political Islam. In July last year, a new national security law got the royal assent. It was meant to enable the police and its intelligence partners to foil covert foreign influence. 3 hostile foreign states that were specifically named were China, Russia, and Iran. A big song and dance was made by the ministers about the new act. Home Secretary James cleverly said, there are foreign powers who have shown their willingness to make threats to the UK and our freedoms. The new National Security Act will prove critical in helping police and intelligence partners to make it even more difficult for them to do so. And the UK will now be safer. An important part of the new act is Foreign Influence Register Scheme, FIRS for short. Basically, this means if an individual or an entity carries out political influence activities in the UK on behalf of or with a specified foreign power, it must be registered. Tom Tugendhat, the security minister of one of the few cabinet ministers that I have a lot of respect for because of his military background and him being more realistic about the Islamic threats in the UK, posted this video saying the law has now come to force.
In July this year, we passed the new National Security Act. And today, the new offences and operational powers brought in by this act have come into force. Now that means that the tools and powers we created to detect, deter and disrupt threats from those acting on behalf of foreign states against the United Kingdom and its interests are now available for use.
So we have all the necessary legislation to expel hate preachers, to expel those who are spreading political influence on behalf of a hostile foreign state. The problem is no one implements the law. As I always say, no one wants to be the one to push the button. We've seen enough ministers intend to do this and ministers intend to do that headlines. We need to see the legislations and acts in action being implemented. We need to see tangible results, not just news headlines that get forgotten.